Some more of these gots to go. Greetings, y'all. Welcome to another video. Today, we are going to be purging some more of my CD collection. Was that a surprise to you? Of course not. You read the title. You already know what I'm talking about here. So with this stuff, I did this once before with my CD collection, did it once before with my vinyl collection, and it felt very good to remove a lot of this stuff that I just didn't feel like I needed to hold on to anymore. A lot of these, especially the CDs, are things that I bought maybe for one song, and just the rest of the album didn't do anything for me. And also stuff that I just haven't listened to. I mean, some of this stuff I haven't listened to in 30 years. I gave all this stuff another listen to make sure I really did want to get rid of it. There were a couple, maybe 2 or 3, that I changed my mind on and put back in the collection here. Most of this stuff is going to be going to Goodwill. I did reach out to a few of our fellow record collector friends out there to see if there was anything here they might want, and if they did, I'd send them to them. I reached out to Briar of Briar's Music Showcase out on the West Coast, and he picked out a few of them, so I'm going to send them to him. And also a newer friend, Daryl of the CD Rabbit Hole. There were a couple that he was interested in, so I'm going to send them off to those guys. If you're not familiar with their channels, by all means, go check them out. They're both great, and subscribe and watch their videos. So now let's just dive in and try to whiz through these giant stacks of CDs that I'm getting rid of. First up, GTR, the mid-80s supergroup of Steve Howe and Steve Hackett. Getting rid of this one. Our good buddy Mike Kelly, formerly of Boston, now of Buffalo, is not going to be too happy with me, but I'm getting rid of Belinda Carlisle's first solo record, and also Belinda's Runaway Horses. Both pretty good, like pop, slick pop records, but I just don't really listen to those anymore. Some more 80s, The Buggles and the Age of Plastic. Video Killed the Radio Star, best track on that. The rest of the album, nothing special. Soft Cell, Non-Stop Erotic Cabaret. You all know Tainted Love. Not crazy about the rest of that. Getting rid of that. Little Feat, Let It Roll. Good title track. Nothing else really does anything for me. Arcadia, the Duran Duran spinoff band. Election Day, best thing on here. Nothing much on the rest of the album. You all know Take On Me by Aha. That's the best track on here. Nothing else really caught my ear. Phil Collins, No Jacket Required. No need required to own this album anymore. We've all heard it a million times. Don't need to hold on to that. This is something my brother had when I was a kid. Blue Oyster Cult, For Unknown Origin. Fire of Unknown Origin. Burning for You. Great track. Nothing much on here else that I like. Similar to Phil Collins, Cyndi Lauper, She's So Unusual. Pretty good record, but, you know, we've just heard this to death. I'd never have any interest in pulling that out of listening to that. Animotion, self-titled album. Obsession, you all know. Nothing else on here is really that great. And I was never that big on Obsession to begin with either. I do like the cover art, though. I think that's kind of cool. Faith No More, you guys all remember them in the early 90s. Epic, Falling to Pieces. Pretty good record, but just nothing I really listen to anymore. Some later 90s Midnight Oil. This is Breathe. I have a bunch of Midnight Oil, but this is not a record I'm that crazy about, so get rid of that. I'm sure you guys see these in the dollar bin all the time. This is The Prodigy and Fat of the Land. I hadn't listened to this since I got it in like 97 or 98, and listened to it, and it's actually not bad, but I just never listened to this, and I can't imagine me pulling it off the shelf to listen to. We got Luscious Jackson and their album Natural Ingredients. I'm not sure if this is their debut, but yeah, just not a record that I really listened to at all. If you've ever wondered what REM would sound like with Warren Zevon singing, we've got the Hindu Love Gods. Pretty good record, but just nothing that I really am that interested in listening to anymore. One-hit wonder from the 90s, Eagle Eye Cherry, Save Tonight. Great song. Nothing else on this album is all too interesting to me. Some reggae by Wailing Souls. Great song on here, Picky Picky Head, if you like reggae, check it out. The rest of it's a little more pop leaning for my taste when it comes to reggae, so Off that goes. This was no shock. Sting, Brand New Day. After his second solo record, I kind of lost interest in Sting's solo career. Found this really cheap, 99 cents in a Goodwill, I think in New Mexico. Decided to give it a try, and need I say more? We've got the Escape Club. Y'all remember the Wild Wild West? Well, this was their follow-up, and it's not good. Some more 90s. Urge Overkill. Bought this for one song, Sister Havana, which is really great. I still love that song. The rest of the album, there's like one or two other tracks on here that I kind of like, but I never pull that thing out to listen to, so off it goes. Ice House had a little bit of success here in the United States in the late 80s. Lost track of them back then. Somebody was talking about this album, saying that it was really good recently. I heard on a podcast or something, so I decided to give it a try, and nothing special. Didn't really like it. Some later ZZ Top, Recycler. Never really been that into ZZ Top. I got this from one of those record clubs. Probably needed something to pick to fill up like the 10 CDs for a penny or something like that, and just grabbed this. And I don't think I've listened to this since the 80s or 90s, whenever it came out. Lemonheads, Lovey. I like Lemonheads, you know, but this record, there's nothing on it really that's interesting to me. Jewel and her, I think this was her debut solo album, Who Will Save Your Soul, was really good on this. Not really my thing. I mean, nothing special. 90s, The Farm, Spartacus, Groovy Train was the big hit off of this. That's probably why I picked it up. Nothing else really does anything for me on that one. We've got Jesse Malin and The Heat. There's a really good song on here called Hotel Columbia, but the rest of the album's a little Moby CD single, Southside. I bought this for the version with Gwen Stefani, which is really good. I still like it, but I have no need to hold on to this CD single. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. I appreciate you making it this far. We still got a little ways to go. We're almost done. Trying to get through these as quick as possible. If you all stay tuned to the end, you will be rewarded a special gift coming to us from JT's Record Room. JT's Record Room will be providing our special gifts today.
Hey guys, JT here from JT's Record Room. You know, there's no special gifts. I don't know where Steve Harold's coming off with this. I'm not giving these records up. Steve's full of shit.
Anyways, we've got Juice soundtrack. Okay, but not really something I need to hold on to. Another soundtrack, The Endless Summer 2 by Gary Hoey. A lot of guitar. I bought this thinking there'd be like a lot of surf guitar, but there's a lot more like hair metal guitar wankery that I'm not too crazy about. If there had been more surf guitar, I think I would have held on to that, but Breakfast Club. You all know this, Don't You Forget About Me by Simple Minds, the big highlight from this. A lot of instrumentals. My least favorite John Hughes soundtrack, and that Simple Minds song is the highlight of this. The Wang Chung song's pretty good. The rest of it, We've got Danny Elfman and his first collection of soundtrack music. Pee-wee's Big Adventure stuff is on here. Beetlejuice, Batman, The Scrooge. You know, kind of interesting, but I'm not really into like that soundtrack, like orchestral kind of music. So nothing that I really ever listened to. We got the Best of the Tubes. Picked this up at Atomic Records in Burbank. Really, really cool store if you're ever out there. The Tubes are kind of one of those bands where there's 2 or 3 songs that I like by them, and the rest of this is like terrible. You know, no offense, Tubes fans, but no need for that. The Best of Bow Wow Wow. I like Bow Wow a lot. I really like them. Bought this at McKay's in Tennessee years ago and didn't know anything by him, and this album just kind of made me a fan, and went out and picked up a bunch of their stuff on CD, vinyl, and everything. So this is a case where I don't need to hold on to this best of, because I have all of it on the separate albums now, so no need to keep that. So more Belinda Carlisle. Sorry, Mike Kelly. The Go-Go's Greatest Hits, similar to Bow Wow Wow. I had this early on, maybe 1990 when it came out, and then have since subsequently picked up their studio records, so no need to hold on to this. And hey, you want to talk about broken records? The Best of the Velvet Underground. Same thing. Bought this in the I don't know, early 90s, late 80s, something like that, and have since picked up all their albums, so no need to hold on to this best of. Foreigners best of records. Y'all maybe remember this, pretty popular in the 80s. This is a case where I didn't have this and went out and bought all the Foreigner records. Just nothing I listened to. Got it really cheap, 99 cents. Thought it was something I might want to have in my collection, but just then realized, like, I don't need to hold on to this. I'm never in the mood to listen to Foreigner, so no need for that. A couple of comedy records. Got this from somebody who was working in a record store, maybe Tower Records in the 90s. Sometimes this is a comedy record by Carl Reiner and Mel Brooks, two brilliant comic minds. They did this whole bit way back in the day about the 2,000-year-old man. This was kind of a sequel, but I got this for free. Just whatever. I don't know. Maybe I've listened to this once. It's just nothing special. We've got Bob Newhart. This I picked up in a Goodwill for 99 cents. I'd never seen this in a store, just kind of was curious what it was like. And it was a really popular album back whenever this came out, when 60 or something, 1960. But it's, for me, listening to it now, it doesn't really do much for me. It's very dated of its time or whatever. So guess what? It's going back to Goodwill. Now for some controversial. Here we go. These might be a little controversial, that I'm getting rid of these, but you know, it is what it is. First up, the Wu-Tang Clan. Enter the Wu-Tang, 36 Chambers. Pretty good record, but it's, you know, my hip-hop's very hit or miss for me. I like a lot of the earlier 80s stuff, which dates me, I know, but that's like my favorite time period for hip-hop. Some of the later stuff I do like, but this one, it's good, but it's just nothing that I really listen to or want to listen to very often or reach for. 2 CD set, Chuck Berry, one of the godfathers of rock and roll. Everything you'd probably want from Chuck Berry is on here. I love the song Promised Land, which is on here. But this kind of rock and roll, the early days rock and roll stuff, I never really am in the mood for. Like, I'd never really want to spend a whole afternoon listening to that early, you know, rock and roll stuff. You know, here or there, hearing the stuff is okay. But yeah, I just didn't really feel like I needed to hold on to that. Another 2 CD set, Desmond Decker, reggae artist extraordinaire. This is a case where there's a handful of these songs I like, but a lot of it I'm not that crazy about. It's a little more poppy, almost kind of like, has like that kind of rock and roll, early rock and rollish kind of vibe to it. I feel like there's probably like a single CD of the best of Desmond Decker out there, probably by like Trojan Records or something, that would probably do me better than holding on to this big 2 CD set. Black Sabbath, Paranoid. I know this would probably be controversial. I've never really been into like that heavy hard rock, heavy metal that much. So, I mean, it's decent. I did almost change my mind on this one, but ultimately I was like, I bought this at Euclid's down in New Orleans, I don't know, 5, 6 some odd years ago, maybe longer. And I've maybe listened to this once since I pulled it off the shelf to give it another try now. I mean, it's just nothing that I really ever am in the mood to listen to. And we're going to end things with Frank Zappa. We've got Hot Rats. You know, I feel like there's a handful of Zappa songs I could cherry pick that I like, a handful, you know, but I'm never really in the mood to sit down and listen to one of his records through and through. It's kind of interesting to listen to once, but then that kind of is it. I don't think I've ever listened to that again since I bought it. And another Frank Zappa, Shake Your Booty, same thing. There's like 1 or 2 songs on here that are kind of interesting, but you know, just never really in the mood to sit down and listen to a whole album, and just don't feel like I need to hang on to these. So that's it. That's all the stuff I'm getting rid of this time. It's a lot, you know. I mean, the first time I did this, I thought I was maybe going to get rid of 10 of these, and I found a whole bunch. And the same thing happened here, you know. And, no regrets. I haven't had a regret of getting rid of the other stuff that I ditched from my collection, and I don't imagine I will have any regrets with this stuff. Just stuff I'm just not that interested to anymore. Don't need to hold on to. All this stuff is digitized in my computer, so worst case, if I ever want to hear a song from any of these, I certainly can pull it up and listen to it. But thank you for tuning in. Thanks for bearing with me for this probably long video. But let me know which of these records, these CDs, you think I'm crazy to get rid of. I'd be curious to hear. And thanks for tuning in. See you another time later on, y'all.